Hey there guys, it's me Tiger Boy here, and this is my round 4 video of my AFL Dream Team this year, 2012. Straight away we're going to get into the round review with the first match on the Friday night. It was Carlton versus Collingwood. It was just a great match, so we're going to get straight into it. First off, it was Carlton Collingwood. The top scorer was Mac Murphy in the midfield. He got 139, closely followed by Gibbs, was just under his score with about 125. And Judd was close behind Gibbs as well. On the Collingwood side, Dane Swan was a heavy contender this week. He got 32 disposals, a couple of tackles and a couple of marks, so he got a very good score. And that was almost as good as Mac Murphy's score, but just under, with just over 100, so I think he got 109 points. That was just good for him, but probably not a good captain choice, so if you did have him, you wouldn't have got full potential out of. The next player that I'm going to mention out of that game was Scott Pendlebury. He got a small score for his stature. He got 62 points. So his price has gone down, same as Dane Swan. Like this week is round 4, so this week the scores have moved up and down. So this week Dane Swan and Scott Pendlebury both came down a huge amount, and hopefully they keep coming down with their lower scores, and hopefully it can make it easier for us that don't have them to get them halfway through the season. Well, now getting on to the next game, that was Richmond-Melbourne. This was in the afternoon, on Saturday afternoon, at the MCG, Richmond home game. Richmond got out of the gate pretty fast. One of the big possession getters was Sean Grigg and Shane Tuck. I think they both had career and season best disposals. Shane Tuck was the top scorer with 146 points. This was a great score for him. If you don't have Shane Tuck, he might be a unique player, but he might not get you 100 each week, but he also will be a unique player. So if you've got the money and you think that you can trust his scoring, he might be a good unique player to pick. On the other side, Melbourne, the most popular pick in Dream Team this year, James Magner, the Magnet, has had his first weakest score this week with a small score of 58. So now there's been the last 2 scores of 100, over 100, and now he's coming out with a 58. So this is showing you what, if he has a bad day, what he could potentially score you. And maybe this was something that people haven't seen coming, but it's pretty good to see that this early in the season that he can get a lower score than 100, and this is just helping out us to show that he does have a bad round, and later in the year he will keep on going up in price, but he might have a short spur when he does have a short. Okay, getting up. Next match is Port Adelaide versus Sydney. This match was very tight for three and a half quarters, but when Sydney wanted to win the match, really they put their foot down and they just went flying ahead of Port Adelaide. I think they kicked about 3 to 4 goals in the final 15 to 20 minutes, and they won the game, Sydney. Not very high scores in this match, but The highest score was for not Sydney, who won the game, but for Port Adelaide, Brad Ebert. From West Coast last year he was, so he's come over to Port Adelaide. He got top score in that game of 123. I think he's a midfielder, but I'm not sure if he wanted to trade out 5. He might be one to go to, a unique player, but I'm pretty sure he's not going to score 123 each week, so it could be a bit risky to jump on him. Out of that match, Adam Goods was suspended was reported for 1 week, and he has contested his charge, and he will be out for 1 week. It's going to be bad for his owners, but I think you can just put him on your bench in your forward line or your midfield if you can, and probably won't have to trade him just for 1 week on the sideline. You can just put him on the bench, and hopefully you can have him back next week. Okay, now getting on to the next game. It was Fremantle versus Brisbane. This game also was pretty tight for half the game, and then Brisbane came out on top. No, not Brisbane. Port Adelaide came out on top in a very low-scoring affair, like a St Kilda affair, with only a small amount of goals kicked and being able to win. So, in that game, the top scorer was defender Paul Duffield. A lot of our stars, like Fife, went off in the first quarter with he popped his shoulder out. He got 22 points. Pavlich only got in the 60s. I think that was his second week in a row under 70, so maybe you would have to have a look at him to see if his performance is going to be good enough to stay in your team over the long run. On the other side of that, there was Brisbane's ruckman, another injury, a 6-week injury to Matthew Leuenberger. I've had lots of messages on my Facebook page, Rowwiees Dream Team Facebook page. The link will be in the description, but everyone's been asking what should people do with Matthew Leuenberger. He is going to be out for at least 6 weeks, so you'll have to trade him out, and he did decrease in $50,000 value, so you're losing a lot of money there, but you should be able to pick up maybe a cruiser who is at pretty good pricing at the moment, and he's in very good form. Patrick Ryder, he's another one you could pick up. Essendon, they're playing well, he's playing well. He might be a bit risky for myself because I've had him in the past and he wasn't a very consistent scorer. So maybe a Sam Jacobs or Sam Jacobs is a good pick from Adelaide. Yeah, he's just a great pick that I'd choose. With Brisbane facing Fremantle in this match, maybe you could sell, getting back to Leuenberger, you could sell Leuenberger for Sunderland if you've got enough money. Dean Cox might be the best ruckman if you've only got Leuenberger and the 3 rookies to sell. You should put maybe Cox in there so that he can be your premium ruckman. McAvoy from St Kilda is a good pick as well. There's helped you out, and hope that you can make some good trades. Now we're getting on to our next game, Gold Coast versus Brisbane. No, it wasn't. It was Gold Coast versus Essendon. This game was pretty exciting. I didn't know what was going to happen, but Essendon pulled through in the end in the fourth quarter to down Gold Coast. Gold Coast were looking alright, led by their captain and my captain, Gary Ablett. He finished the match with 162. At halftime he had 96 Dream Team points. So it was a great game, and a lot of people would have had him as captain, so that could have been a great pick for him. I think Gary Ablett's probably the only Gold Coast player that I'm going to talk about this week, because not many other players you'd have in your team at the moment. Maybe later in the year you could have different players like Jared Brennan maybe, or Isaac Smith if you're going for him in the ruck. But on the other side of that game with Essendon, there was Dyson Heppel. Zaharakis had a good game as well. He was great. And if that was... He had a great game, Zaharakis, but he was very out of the game. But one person that hasn't been out of the game for the first 3 weeks has been Jobe Watson and Brett Stanton. Them two have been smashing it, getting 130s to 140s each week, and a lot of people have been getting really, really high scores, and hopefully that they can keep going and score their great scores. Okay, next week on the agenda we've got Western Bulldogs versus St Kilda. Well, that game wasn't very good at all. Very low scoring. The only players that everyone would have had in this game could have been Del Santo, Goddard. Both of them got hundreds, and they're both looking like they're getting into some form under new coach Scott Waters. Now, Western Bulldogs, you only need to name one player, and that was Matthew Boyd. He scored a match high of 146, and that has made him just a great player this year with his scoring abilities in a losing team. Okay, that's it for that game. So now, GWS versus West Coast. This was their first game up at their home stadium, and that has shown that they are going to get some support up there, but they're probably not going to see a win for the next year or so, maybe. I'm pretty sure that they're going to get 1 or 2 wins in the next couple of seasons, but it's going to be very thin where they're going to get in the win department. But with their players, they are scoring very well, with Jonathan Giles scoring a 60 to 70. Most of their scores are around 80 to 60, and that was a great to see that they on the West Coast side it was a very different affair, with West Coast having Scott Selwood and Adam Selwood. The Selwood brothers both got hundreds. Scott Selwood got a huge 150. He had 9 tackles in this game, so it was a very good tackling game by him. Devon Smith, Josh Kennedy, both of them scored pretty well for everyone. Yeah, and that's about it in that game. Josh Kennedy didn't do too bad. Dean Cox got 100. Nick Natanui did alright as well in the ruck. They pretty much dominated Jonathan Giles. Yeah, so getting on to the next game on that Sunday, it was Hawthorn versus Adelaide. It was the Buddy, Mitchell and Grant Birchall show there. There was in the last quarter a huge crash with Luke Bruce going up and going straight into an oncoming player, and he had to be stretchered off. So if you've got him in your team, you might have to think about trading him out, because I'm pretty sure that he's not going to be able to play this week. So So other else in that game, there was no reports or other injuries. Adelaide played well for the first 2.5 quarters. Some kicking has probably let them down a bit with their two goal kickers, Taylor Walker and Kurt Tippett, letting them down. But in the end, Hawthorn got out with a win there. So it was a great win for Hawthorn. Now, the last game of the round was North Melbourne versus Geelong. This last week I had eight tips right so far. I tipped Geelong and I thought that I had it in the bag. I thought I got 9 out of 9, but Geelong, they just couldn't do it. I just didn't know what was wrong with them. They were just terrible. I don't think they got many Dream Team scores. The top scorer out of that game was Jack Zeeble. He got 139. So maybe he's coming into Dream Team. Calculations now, and he should be able to maybe get into a few more teams in this year or maybe next year. Wondering, depending on how well he keeps going in this season, and if he can stay injury free, would be good for his price and for the likelihood of people picking him. So that's it for the round review this week. Next week I'll be reviewing each game. Next week the match of the round is going to be on Saturday afternoon. The first match, it's going to be Carlton versus Essendon. So in that match we should have Juddy, Gibbsy, Scotland, all them players, Watson, Stanton, all them playing at the one game. It should be a high possession and high Dream Team game. So hopefully the round review can come back next week and see what's happening in Dream Team. Okay guys, I'm back here and I'm going to be talking about right now the issues trading this week. There's going to be two major players that are going to be traded out this week maybe. Leuenberger is definitely going to be traded out. He's out for 6 weeks. You can't hold on to him for that long if you're definitely into Dream Team and you want to try and win the car or win a league. You're going to have to trade him out for another premium ruck. But Fife has been named as test in the paper or on all websites, the AFL website and the Herald Sun. He's been named as test and that he might still have a chance to play, but I'm sure that with his problems with his shoulder, he will not be playing this week, and probably he might come back next week, he might not. It just depends how bad his shoulder injury is, but I'm sure that he will not play this week or next week, maybe not even the week after that. So the first thing that we need to find out that who should we be picking up for these two guys. Like I said in the round review, for Leuenberger you could pick up any premium ruckman if you've got a certain amount of cash in your bank. Maybe Cox, Sandilands, Sam Jacobs, Cruiser, Ryder, even a McIntosh. He's been playing well. He's been scoring 80s and 90s. The last week he scored 100, so maybe he's in your range and you could get a bit of money out of him in your bank to trade in another player on later in the year. But with Fife, he's a dual position player, so you could trade him out and get a player like Side Bottom for around the same price. I'm sure. Side Bottom, there's Mzungu, there's, oh god, there's Richmond players like, Richmond, there's St Kilda, there's all of the players that are all around that mid-price. In your forward line you could get Steve Johnson, Chapman, who's another high-priced forward. Yeah, you could get almost anyone in the forward line. In the midfield, if you've got him in your midfield at the moment, and you had a certain amount of money, you might be able to get in Scott Pendlebury or someone like that. Matt Pritters, Shane Tuck and Sean Grigg have been playing well for Richmond as well. Who else? There's Scott Selwood, he's playing well. Mitchell, all the Hawthorn players are just gold at the moment. They're all scoring high scores. Another unique that everyone have been talking about on my Facebook page, Rowwiees Dream Team Talk, Dream Team Show, has been Brendan Whitecross. He is a very unique player. The last 2 weeks he's been kicking goals and getting a lot of possession, so maybe he's one to pick up. There's some options for you if you've got Fife and Leuenberger in your team, and I hope it helps you out to pick your player at the end of the week. Okay, hi there guys, it's me Rowie here, and I'm going to do some Rowwiees captains. This week we've got the top 5. Number 1 is going to be Gary Ablett. He got 162 last week. I'm pretty sure that he can get at least 130, 140 for you people out there that put the big C on him. It was great to see Gary Ablett getting 162. Yeah, so now second player on my list for Rowwie's captains is going to be Dane Swan. I hope that he can bounce back from his form. He's been getting low hundreds in the 100 to 110, but I'm pretty sure against Port Adelaide this week that he can bust out 120 to 140. But I'm hoping just that he keeps getting these only 110s, because I'm not a Dane Swan owner at the moment. I'll be planning to get him in later in the season, so I would like Dane Swan just for his sake to get a good score, but I'm quietly saying that I don't really want him to get a good score at all. So number 3 on my list is going to be the Essendon superstar Brett Stanton. He is a good player. A lot of people have got him in their teams. He's scoring 140s and 150s nearly every week. I think he's in the top 3 or 4 in scoring this year already. So get on Brett Stanton for your captain. Number 4 is the other Collingwood duo. It will be Pendlebury. Also like Swan, he's at a high price and he got a poor score last week, so he's going to go down price, but hopefully he can bounce back this week. Now to round out the top 5, I've got another Smokey. Normally my 5th pick is going to be a Smokey who's been playing well and going under the radar a bit as a captain. And that is Brendan Goddard. He's been scoring easily 110 each week, I think, and he will be a great captain choice for you if you think that your person that you're going to be facing this week is going to have Gary Ablett as their captain. So, and that's it for Rowwie's captains, and hopefully that your captain goes well, and here we go. And I'll be back in just 1 second with the rest of okay, and now I'll be talking about what's going to be happening this weekend. I've just looked at my Facebook page on my computer a second ago. I've just looked at my page and it said that I've got 50 likes on my page. I'd just like to thank everyone for liking my page. Hopefully that I can get more stuff out to you guys and that you guys can help me out. Helping each other with this dream team this year will be great. It looks like we've got heaps of comments on the page at the moment. Just keep it happening. Just post a topic or anything, and so that we can help each other out if you're stuck with trades. This weekend I will be, hopefully on a Saturday and a Sunday afternoon, be on the computer on my page for live scores and live updates throughout the games when they're playing, and this weekend on Friday at 5:30 I will be on the Facebook page and on my dream team to talk to anyone on the page that needs help with their dream team, and I should be able to help you out if you need any advice with dream team, or anyone else can just lend us some support, and hopefully that we can help each other out. Okay, and this is going to be the end of my video. Hopefully this can come out soon and we can keep going with our dream teams and hopefully beat our scores from the last couple of weeks. Okay, and this is Rowwee out.